Hello and welcome. My name is Kevin. This is Do It for Bruce. We're here in CK3, back again with another time lapse for y'all, trying to see what Royal Court has done to this game with the additions of Royal Courts and how they affect just the general well-being of a nation, how artifacts increases the likelihood of the success of a nation, how culture has an effect on the success of the nature, the new culture pillars as well as traditions, and how the languages and all of that new and exciting items affect this game now. So we're going to run 3 different time lapses just to get, as I said, a nice baseline to see what's changed, what's different, who's better, who's worse. Let's start out with some predictions. Prior to the update, we knew for a certainty that when it came to the longer time lapses, the Muslim faith was the best, hands down the best, usually the most dominant. They had the most likely to be better off. Now with this new update, we will see if that is still true. Understanding of whether or not that is still true is that if the Reconquista happens the opposite way, whereas the Muslims take over the rest of Spain, or if the Spanish Christians actually are able to do it. We will also see how well the Persians as well as the Fatimid kingdom will do. Byzantines and the Holy Roman Empire will be a good example of seeing how the AI does with larger swaths of land as well as many vassals. My prediction is I think there will be maybe a shift. I think they've probably done a better job of fixing the Christian Muslim mechanics so that there's more contention there. So I think we'll see a lot more change in that regard. Culture wise, we will see a ton of shifting. I think it will be interesting to see who shifts more, or if there will be specific cultures that shift more. Like, will we see a lot more Greek shifts, not just a solid block? Whoever it is, the AI will probably be consistently shifting more and more. And then finally, we'll see if the Mongols have gotten a buff or are about the same. My guess is they're about the same. We shall see. So I will see you after the first time lapse. See you in a bit. All right, here we are, post first time lapse. Lots of things to talk about, lots of things to cover, but first and foremost, let's talk about the couple key points we're going to look at. Obviously, we're going to check out Faith, see who's the winner there. Top 5 courts of grandeur in total, and then also the different cultures, splits, hybrids that have been formed, and finally military strength is always just a good purview of who's the most powerful. It's like we have a pretty interesting Reconquista that occurred. We've also, looks like we have a return of the warrior pope. He's back and he's in charge and he's ready to take over northern Africa. France still having its splitsies issues, always having a split in the north-south. Bohemia is free, Byzantines are large. We did have an interesting Mongolian invasion because we actually got some Mongolian states afterwards. We had Chagatai and some Golden Horde religion. It looks like in this case we have Catholics being the dominant force. They did a good job reconquisting the Holy Land. It looks like they've retaken Jerusalem and have kept it, as well as all their holy sites. Then it comes the Ashari. So normally they're much more powerful. And then Orthodox and Shaivism, which is a Hindu faith out here in the East. So all in all, the prize is that Catholics were more dominant in that regard. Let's look at culture. This is going to be interesting. So we have small cultures being happening, some divergence within the Andalusians, Anglo-Saxons, having some Mercian pop out, and France is just having a time of it, aren't you? 6 different faith or cultures that have either diverged from one or formed their own. Lots more divergence, Bulgarians and Greek combining into one culture. So it looks like the culture game has not only changed a lot as we expected, but it's going to continue to evolve per time lapse. So we're going to see a lot of fun combinations, which I'm already excited to see. Will this give us insight into seeing who is better or worse? Top 5. So we got from top, we got Bohemia, then we have Mali, and then we have this kingdom in India, the Malwa. Military strength, and see who's got the juice. Stelians, and then it's our boys out east. Quickly look at kingdom map mode just to see if anything has absolutely changed. That was the first one down. Let's go to our next one. Here we are after time-lapse number 2. What I see right off the back, we got some mega nations. We have a breakout game from Portugal, Jerusalem, Bala, and Africa seem to have all had a really good game. Ghana as well, some Ghanaian gains. You know, you love to see that. Would be formed so easily. I feel like that's it doesn't happen unless we have an immortal involved, and maybe we'll start to see a little bit more of that over as time goes on. Also, Jerusalem had an appearance in the last one, but wasn't this massive. Jesus, this is something else. Go down the list. So see whose faith is first. Looks like it's going to be one of the Christian faiths. Catholicism, once again, taking over most of Northern Africa as well as the Middle East. Muslims into the steppe or into Africa itself. Catholics seem to have won this round. Culture-wise, we have obviously Portuguese culture being diverged from Galician. We have, oh my, last time I said it was a bad time in France. This time we've got quite a bit more divergence and hybridization, and formation is just a mess. And Greek stayed pretty homogeneous, and Masharik culture made this Kulfuldi, which I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, but that's how I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be interesting, these wild names that are gonna come up with these between these different hybridizations. We got Pala as number 1 in the world, then Armenia. Ooh, shout out to Armenia. If you haven't seen my Armenian playthrough, you should totally check it out. And then after that, we've got a couple other ones, Portuguese, who seem to be run by a man. Mask is super well fitted. It seems weird that it would do that to his lips there. We'll go to, top. So it's Pala first, Jerusalem second, Portugal third, Punjab Kingdom. Once again, it looks like the Christians are going to be a lot more dominant in this with this update. Well, situations why that's occurring, but for now, we're just taking note of it and trying to see what else comes of it. Here we are in our last time lapse. Let's look around the map. It looks like we are having title switch there. It looks like the Croatians took over Africa, but then for some reason took the Africa Kingdom title. Portugal, once more, in the game. Love it. Love to see it. Frisia, big old Kingdom of Frisia, outproducing the Kingdom of the Holy Roman Empire. Southern Baltic Empire. Woo! You don't usually get to see one of those. A couple generations back by King of Bohemia is up to no good, making his own empire because he doesn't like the HRE. Byzantines in turmoil, middle of a civil war, it looks like. That's wonderful. Little Jerusalem, still on the page. Syria, yes, conquered the Holy Land. Oh man, the Croatians had a time this game. Really had a time, this family. It looks like they've gone off to be super prosperous. Looks like we're still, we have Tengriism taking one of the spots, but it looks like pretty much the same top 4. What I wish would be true is that there was a similar breakdown of culture. I wish it would be a simple tooltip like that, but unfortunately for us, we are not so fortunate. Unless some modder wants to go out and do that for us, that would be great. Croatian Masharik, man, the Croatians had, what a time they must have had. Croatian Sicilians, how many Croatian combinations can we have in one game? Sina, here they are. This big boy, this Buddhist boy out here. Have him in first. Then after that is another Karnata, and it looks like most of the Indian subcontinent has grandeur lockdown this time. Yeah, looks like these boys were like, nah, we're not going to expand our empire. Why do that when we could have just a dope royal court? More come out of India is awesome, just to see not as much of a dominant area. The Christians have a stranglehold over the rest of the world. And then finally, let's just look at the kingdom map mode. Nothing too crazy. Seems that's pretty standard. Wales getting chomped up. Brittany popping off. Jerusalem having thing that seems to be popping out more, maybe just because they're taking advantage of the collapse of the Abbasid Empire, or not the Abbasid, the collapse of the Persian Empire. The Seljuks aren't able to keep it together as well as they used to. It looks like a lot more issues with the Muslim faith in general. It looks like they're not doing as well overall. I'm not sure if it's just because they don't have as much kingdoms and empires, so they aren't getting all the new bonuses that come with the royal court. So that's why Christians are doing a lot better, because on paper they have a ton more kingdoms to start with, so they're getting all those extra bonuses from the grandeur and all the artifacts and all those other things that come with royal court. There's that, and then we'll show you one more graph to close this little video out. All right, see you there. Here is our graph. We have 3 points on it. We have grandeur, military strength, number of counties. We scored them by faith. So depending on each person's faith, it's just an easier way to roll up all the different data points. So how I scored it was that 1st through 5th gets 5 through 1, if that makes sense. So first place gets 5 points, second 4, and so on and so forth. So I did that for all 3 of the times we saw it for grandeur, military strength, and number of counties. So first we start with the Tengriism. They only got 1 point in every category, so you can see that they haven't done a lot. Then we'll go to the Buddhists. They did a little better than Tengriism, but still fell short. And then we have Hindu. They have a much better showing in the grandeur category, as well as military, and number of counties not as much. Then we have the Muslims, who really only showed up in the number of counties that they had in control. And then finally we have Catholicism. So as you can see, in general, the Catholics are doing the best. They're getting outperformed by the Hindus in grandeur, but when it comes to military strength and number of counties represented by them, they are killing everybody. So I hope that gives you a clearer picture of what's going on, at least in this just baseline understanding of how the new DLC is affecting these time lapses and how it's going to possibly affect them moving forward. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. As always, have a good rest of the day.